quite well.
Ambassador, stay with us. We're going to be coming back to you. But let me now bring in former presidential candidate Japheth Kaluyu. Japheth, you are a presidential candidate, and obviously you would have wished to attend that inauguration. But I know you watched also. First, take us through what sticks out in that speech for you.
Well, thank you so much, and greetings, my fellow Kenyans. I'm excited to be on the screens in your homes. This is important to me as you speak about my presidential bid. So anything presidential draws a lot of interest to me. Two things stood out. One, this is giving the background. It is a historic day for America, not in the sense of just a speech. You are talking of in the last 10 years, we had a black president, and also he chose a white counterpart, a vice president. Then the same vice president chose a black vice president who is a woman. So in 10 years has been very historic for African Americans in the United States, but also historically for the whole country. So he has spoken as America's Day. He has said that today is a historic day. He spoke about the 400,000 COVID victims. He has covered a lot of ground. He is not the cozy kind of speech guy, but which is people are looking for necessarily a lot of cozy speech, which was equivalent to Obama, but he's a different kind of personality. He's more fatherly. He's more of the attitude kind of a guy, where people are seeing hope. Is referring power. Whatever is happening to my computer at the moment, I hope you are staying with me. Are we all together on this one? Because something happened just to my computer.
No, we're okay. We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can hear me.
Yes.
So it is, it is historic. And then it talks about America being tested. And that is true. It has been tested. And he says that this is America's day. We have learned again that democracy is delicate, democracy is fragile, and this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. Those were very powerful words from his speech. And then he talks about the hallowed ground where violence happened on January 6th. And he says it was shaking the very foundation of the American democracy, but democracy prevailed. He thanked the previous president, remember, which was kind of against what President Trump just did. He came in the morning, he arranged his 21-gun salute and stole some sort of limelight from Biden in the morning by giving that big speech. Nobody does that, but he stole something from him, but he did not shake him. He has talked of America being tested a few times before. Remember, 180 years ago, in the same ground, women were protesting against lack of voting, and there were protesters who are protesting against the inauguration. So this is not the first time this is happening, and there is kind of violence happening in there. And he kind of warned that COVID is going to be even probably entering a more tough times. So this speech was more of a speech of hope and telling Americans that when we are one, when Americans is one, they win. And the way forward is staying together. So that speech, I found it was very powerful. It did not have the bells and whistles and the attitude of Obama level, the Kennedy level, or Clinton level, but it was very inclusive. And this is something that Africans, as African, should borrow a leaf. And despite the fact, you know, as a research scientist myself, I look at benefits and, you know, negatives of everything. Trump tested America. He had to be there to test America, whether America can pass the test, to show that we must recommit around the world, showing democracy, even though it's very noisy, it is very delicate. And what we saw in Uganda and what we are seeing in other countries should not really be happening. There should be smooth transition of power. Yes, someone doesn't have to be a president, to influence policy. If you look at the greatest people who influenced policy in the world, they were not president. Look at Muhammad. Look at Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, even Jesus Christ, if you want to go religious. So those people had the most influence in the world, Mahatma Gandhi, but they were never president. So this idea you must be president to change things, it is a fallacy. And that is why you are seeing many African countries, like in our country, you see people selling even tags. They are selling slogans. They can't even define those. So I would like to see what has happened today and the speech, what has happened today, to be able to follow, to borrow some leaf and look at how taking care of a nation, it is about changing people's lives. No matter which part you pull, whichever weight you lift, it is all about America. It should be all about Kenya, should be about Africa, not who is going to lead, but who is going to change people's lives. What we are talking about in our countries is about who is going to lead, who must be the president. That should not be it. It should be who is going to change people's lives, and that is my position.
All right, Dr. Kaluyu, stay with me because we're coming back to you. We still have a lot. You have drawn that context with the Kenyan context and tried to mirror exactly the differences between these two countries in terms of leadership. And I'll be asking that final question to the lady and gentleman here when we come back. But first, let's remind you of some of the things that happened.